Good morning, everyone. What is this today? Tuesday, the 18th. Hope everybody's doing good. Thanksgiving's next weekend, so you better go get your turkey if you haven't got it yet. It's crazy how fast the holidays come up for me, because when you do like the desserts and that type of shit, if you're not already prepared for Christmas and Thanksgiving, it's already too late. And I don't stress over the making all the holiday treats too much anymore. I just make what I make because it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. Even right now, like I want to do some hot cocoa bombs, which I'm going to do, but I just don't have the fucking time to do it. And I just think in dollars and cents, and I could just make my cheesecakes. They're a lot easier and faster, but you got to have a variety. So anyway, let me get to the comments here. I'm just rambling. Today is Todd's birthday, Todd Father. So happy birthday. I think he's, I don't know how old he is today. Probably somewhere in his 40s, I'm guessing. What else? Let's just get to it. I know Tommy has, what's that lady's name? Talia Shire on today. That's who he is talking about. And she was in Rocky. I think she was in that other movie too, that one mob movie. I can never remember it. The one that sucks. I don't know if you guys know which one it is. It was like in the 70s. Anyway, but yeah, she was in a bunch of movies, so that's on Tommy's show tonight. Let's see here. So Seattle is such a disaster. There's no reason to have the World Cup here. I mean, for what? There's no restaurants. There's not even going to be no Starbucks now. The city smells like shit. It looks like shit. There's people everywhere slumped over. I mean, it's basically like every other city in America, but it's just one of the worst. It's up there with New York and LA, San Francisco. I haven't even been up there in forever. Godfather. Thank you, Co-Train. Godfather. That's what it was. The Godfather. The kidney stone movie. Yeah. So let's listen to Trump talk real quick about this.
Yeah. If we think there's going to be a sign of any trouble, I would ask Johnny to move that to a different city. We have a lot of cities that would love to have it, number one, and we'll do it very safely. So if we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very liberal/communist mayor, I would say, it's certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there. But if we think there's going to be a problem, Johnny, can I say we will move? I don't think you're going to have this problem, but we're going to move the event to someplace where it's going to be appreciated and safe.
Yeah, well, I think safety and security is the number one priority.
And where I set up at, I was there yesterday again. I'll be there again Friday for the Puyallup tribe here in Washington State. We're a little south of Seattle, but this tribe, they're one of the largest tribes in the state, and they have a lot of money. Well, but they're the major sponsor for FIFA. They have like this office building that I was at yesterday. They have this huge like billboard that counts down the minutes and hours until FIFA Cup. There's like 218 days and then something hours, and so they're heavily invested in this, and I think they're going to get screwed. I don't know how all that shit works, but you guys know I've been saying it all along. I thought it was already going to happen, like during the World Series, but I have a feeling that, like there's going to be a showdown and it's going to happen in Seattle just because they had the CHOP or Chaz, that autonomous city during the pandemic. And, I went out with this chick the last job I had, I was a bartender, in downtown Seattle. I dated this chick who was a paralegal. And I really didn't even start dating her until after the pandemic hit and I got fired. They closed the bar down. She was like definitely a libtard for sure. Probably the only, I don't know. You never know sometimes, but probably the only libtard, not the only one, but I don't try not to date libtards. But she was pretty hot. Anyway, she was what would she call herself? An emotional support person for the people that were down there wreaking havoc or being caught in it. I don't even know what her job was, but she was an emotional support person, and it was during like the BLM riots and all that kind of stuff. But then she said she just I can't remember why. She said she quit doing it. It got to be too much. I just think that it's gonna get wild in Seattle. Those people are just it's crazy town. At least they dump a bunch of money into the city before they destroy. Yeah, I mean, there's not even no restaurants for those people to eat at. Like all those people are gonna come to Seattle and do what? It's just gonna be. There's nothing. Unless they just build some. I guess they could make like a food court village or something is probably what they would do. I would imagine they would have to. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. It would serve Seattle right if they don't get it. I mean, and that mayor, she's just not qualified to do anything. She doesn't know how to organize a city around a major event like that. Man. Anyway, let's move on. I just had a couple videos before we get into Candace Owens. So you guys know I don't agree with the illegal street vending for sure. Those guys are fucking stealing all of our money. And so I don't know how I feel about this one, but this is what the health inspector does to these people. She takes bleach and pours it on all their food. And it's probably because those guys are like, well, what, she comes there. See, like with me, when they came and said, you got to shut down or because they, I was selling snow cones and Polish sausage last year without a permit way on the outskirts of the county. And they still found me out there. And I have to pay the fine and follow the rules because otherwise, I have a, business license and all that stuff. They can make it to where I just can't operate. These guys, they're illegal, so they don't give a fuck. What can they do to them? Nothing. They can't make them pay a fee. They can tell them to shut down, but they don't have to listen. The cops aren't going to do shit about it. So this lady took it into her own hands and she poured bleach on all their shit. And I don't know. I don't believe in fucking people shit up like that, but I don't know. I'm not mad at it. The only thing I can see with that is man, you just should not be eating at those places, period. And that's why, because you don't know what the fuck is going on, man. I would not be eating at those illegal street Now, if it's like a Mexican taco truck, that's one thing. But even then, you got to be careful. Okay, I'm going from the top to bottom now. This is just more of how long was that other video? This is just more of the FIFA Cup.
Mr. President, on the World Cup, if you would, Seattle and the World Cup. The new mayor-elect of Seattle is a Democratic Socialist. Seattle has
or beyond. I watched her.
Right, Seattle has
that's more than socialism.
Right, Seattle has 6 World Cup games. How close are you going to be watching that city with the crime in the city?
Well, if we think, and I'll have to speak to Johnny about this, but if we think that the mayor of LA is incompetent, everybody knows it. You know that I was there, I guess, 2 years ago, and we got all the federal permits taken care of, far more complex than the state permits and the city permits. And Lee Zeldin, who's a superstar, got everything taken care of. The toughest part, having to do with the fires, that should have never happened. If they let the water come in, it wouldn't have happened, right? Do you know that people aren't building their houses yet? I mean, can you imagine that? And if we didn't go in early on, Christy, I think we could say it. Well, the head of their police department said it. They were unable to handle. You would have had, not only did you have the fires, but you would have had total insurrection in Los Angeles. And if we didn't go in, and the head of, the gentleman, he said it, and he said it strongly, said we could not have done it without the federal government. We did a great job. If we think there's going to be a sign of any trouble, I would ask Johnny to move that to a different city. We have a lot of cities that would love to have it, number one, and we'll do it very safely. So if we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very liberal/communist mayor, I would say, it's certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there. But if we think there's going to be a problem, Johnny, can I say we will move? I don't think you're going to have this problem, but we're going to move the event to someplace where it's going to be appreciated and safe.
Yeah, well, I think safety and security is the number one priority for a successful World Cup. We can see today that people have trust in the United States when we see at the ticket sales, we sold, record-breaking figures of tickets, almost 2 million already sold out of 2 million that we've been selling. This is because people, they know that they will be coming here and they will experience a safe and secure World Cup. This is the responsibility, of course, of the government, of Secretary Norm, of everyone. And obviously, we will, we will discuss, we are working together, we have a task force for this. And
Suzanne, ALV, good morning. How are you guys? I woke up to get water, can't sleep anymore. Well, good morning. I know how that is. Happy birthday to Todd, our fairy Todd father. Yes. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so he ain't playing around, and I can't remember who he said that guy was right there, but you got Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security. So you already, and this isn't the first mention of moving FIFA out of Seattle. They've been in there paying attention to it. And when Trump says, we're thinking, we might, this, that, they're already probably going to do it. I'm kind of torn. I hope they leave it there and I think they probably will leave it there, but I think they're preparing for chaos. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Interesting stuff. Me personally, I don't know how many of you guys are interested in FIFA. I don't know what FIFA, and I'm an acronym guy. I don't know what FIFA stands for. Football International Football Association, Federal International Football Association, Fuckface International Football Academy. Who knows? Soccer, but they call it football over there, right? I have no interest in it. It's just another money grab like all the other sports. And there's probably a lot of gambling involved in it, I would imagine. It's just not popular here for gambling. Maybe it is. All right, let's get into Candace Owens. Some of you may be interested and some of you may not. I'm heavily invested in the story because this isn't just conspiracy theory shit to me. This is the line drawn in the sand, guys. If you don't fucking understand how important it is to push back on every single part of this story, we're fucked from here on out. If they get over on us on the Charlie Kirk thing, we're fucked for the rest of our life. I guarantee it. They're gonna fuck. They've got us. We have to fucking figure out what the fuck is going on, because it was not little Tyler Robinson, not unless, they set him up or whatever. But you notice how, like, if it was a leftist and is all this like extreme leftist, and that's what this is, the trans and all, you don't see them going after these guys. Like, you think they would, like, this would be enough, Charlie Kirk would have been enough. Like, all right, we're gonna, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. Nope, they got their guy. It's all kabuki theater. So some of you guys might be like, well, what the fuck is this all about? You got to watch Candace Owens, man. There's nothing more important than her series right now in life on YouTube. Now, I mean, maybe there's things more important in life, but if you're on YouTube watching shit on YouTube and you haven't watched Candace Owens, you're not getting the meat and potatoes. You're not on YouTube the right way. You have to watch this. And I never say that you have to watch anything. This is more important than the fucking election. And it's not my opinion. This is facts. Not a word about it anymore in the mainstream media, which is why it's so important that we have to follow this. Twiggy did it, in my opinion, or was heavily involved at the least. Definitely a player in it for sure. But it's not just about who pulled the trigger, or whether it was a trigger or a drone or an electronic fucking laser beam, heart attack weapon, I mean, who knows what it was. Was it just a hologram that we've seen? I mean, there's just so much shit. But these are facts that she's bringing us. So we'll listen to this real quick. This is about the planes.
Now, okay? So you have to remember that Charlie landed into Salt Lake City at 9:23 a.m. local time. I suspect that if he had instead landed into Provo, he would have recognized the blue Egyptian plane, okay? It's not every day that you see an Egyptian military craft. It is now my well-informed opinion that he would have looked at that plane and he would have recognized the blue plane, and he would have instantly realized that something was amiss. And now I'm going to explain to you very carefully why I suspect that it is highly likely that Charlie would have recognized that plane, okay? Tail number SUBND, the blue plane. A pregnant mommy sleuth who was locked into this investigation discovered something that me and my team had missed. I consider her, obviously, and all of you to be my decentralized intelligence agents. Anyway, she sent me a rather urgent email, and I'm obviously protecting her identity for reasons that are clear. But I want you to know that this discovery is due entirely to her. She is the person that, in this regard, went max for Charlie when I missed something. Her email stated, in effect, that I was only partially right about the plane tracking Charlie, that she had done an additional 15 hours of research and was able to discern that the person the planes were actually tracking for years was Erica. Not Charlie, but Erica was the one being tracked by these planes. And indeed, it turns out that she was correct. She discovered that between 2022 and September of 2025, both of those aircrafts, SUBTT, the yellow plane, and SUBND, the blue plane, showed 68 overlaps with Erica's documented locations, okay? 68 overlaps. I have since been able to add now 73 times that this overlapped, okay? And 29 of those instances also happened to include Charlie. Charlie was also present. And that's what I was stumbling upon when I was looking into this. I was like, why is this plane where Charlie is? The flights were majority clustered within 5 states: Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Delaware, and Utah. And it's a pattern that she believes is statistically not random. I'm telling you this information has been completely verified. I am showing you this on a spreadsheet now. These are all the instances in which this plane, 68 instances that this plane crossed with Erica. And I'm also going to say this includes overseas as well. Okay. So my instant question becomes, why didn't Turning Point acknowledge that this plane was familiar to them? When I was taking all of these figurative online bullets, someone could have easily said something, right? That's kind of a repeat thing in this investigation. Josh Hammer lies, I get attacked, Turning Point just stays silent. They know he's lying, but they allow the lie to flow. Alex Clark lies, I get attacked, I'm telling the truth. Turning Point knows it, but they kind of allow this like Catholic thing, lie to flow. And the influencers are allowed to lie. Nobody at Turning Point ever just steps to clarify that I'm onto something or I'm telling the truth about something. And when it comes to these Egyptian flights, the math on this is indisputable. There is less than a 0.00000001% probability, okay, under random distribution models that these Egyptian planes coincidentally landed around Erica at these times. Like I said, this plane was not just with her in America, it was also tracking her overseas as well. I flagged this because I was alarmed because I thought it was tracking.
Good morning, guys. Hope you guys are doing good. Bambi and Tommy, good to see you. Yeah. So, I mean, what the fuck is going on? You know, Erica Kirk is just, you guys know she was Miss Arizona in like 2012, right? Both of her parents are heavily involved in high level military. Her dad wrote a book called How to Be Business Intelligent in the Government. She was on some reality show talking about, you know, they bring up Christianity. I don't know, man. You got to watch Candace Owens, but there is definitely something going on. And what the fuck with these planes? It's just these. You have, you know, and look at how Erica Kirk looks up into the sky all the time. You know, like she's talking to God. I think she's talking to those fucking planes. It's crazy shit. And I have some more videos on it. Charlie Kirk's head of security from 9/10. And you know, in regards to the Epstein files coming up, on when Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th, they voted an hour later to seal the Epstein files. They weren't going to release anything else. They voted that on September 10th to not release anything else. So when weird things like that happen is when they take the opportunity to, you know, did they know that was going to happen ahead of time? I don't know.
Do any of your guys have any ties to any foreign intelligence agencies, more specifically Mossad?
No, and I've seen that and heard that, and you know, I've been in 39 countries in this world, and I've never been to Israel. I'm a firm Christian. I ask our guys, "Are you believers?" We have no ties to Israel or Mossad or any other one. We're Americans.
Oh yeah, you sound so fucking believable, dude. Masada treats. I love that. Pain Like Bane. That's fucking awesome. Good morning. Good to see you. That is I like that. Masada treats, dude. That's some Iranian. Ooh, I'll have to think about that. White Egyptian, though. What's the theory? You have to watch Candace Owens, AOV. We're talking, you know, there's 15 to 20 hours of this of her on YouTube talking about this already. She's a lot smarter than I am, and they have a lot of people working on this. You know, she's connected all through the government. She knows all kinds of people. She's a true detective and journalist and reporter. I'm not. So the Egyptian plane, it's a good question. You know, why are these Egyptian planes tracking Erica? We don't know exactly why. But what we do know is she knows the tail numbers of a yellow and a blue plane, and they can prove without a shadow of a doubt that everywhere that Erica goes, at least 73 times, that this plane is tracking her, is where she's at. And so we don't know yet. All we know is everything they say is a lie, you know. 556, you have to make a crazy comment. Yes, 100%. Oh, there he is. There's Sting, dude. Hold on one sec. We might have to derail the show, guys. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If I didn't know Pain Like Bang was 556 Media. If he is, that's hilarious.
Plane, Candace just broke this story, and it's absolutely insane. And the question is, why? Or more so, would there be a possibility that somebody very close to Charlie or very close to Erica Kirk was feeding intel back to an Israeli operation? So you think about this when you're talking about somebody being a handler, and I'm not saying Erica Kirk is.
And see, that's one thing too, ALV, that you know, the Egypt and Israel geographically are right next to each other. There's so many connections between, you know, and you know, there's theories of the ancient Egyptians migrating through Israel and then end up as the royal family in the UK. So they're very closely connected. Israel and Egypt and Mossad and intelligence and all that, you know, that's ground zero for all of that. Patty, good morning. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Has this just started, or was it going since her husband was alive? The planes, no, the planes tracked Charlie like 28 times that they know of. So it's been going since he was alive. But, you know, something just started happening. There's just like so many anomalies. They also found out that before his assassination, a lot of these people and locations that are involved in it were Google searched heavily in Israel. So there's, you know, they got like all these smart people that know how to go into the metadata and all this stuff that are working on this case. And so they just know this isn't just conspiracy theories. Egyptians hate Israel, though. They would not help Israel until, well, see, you know, there's levels to everything, though, right, ALV? You know, there's general mainstream knowledge, and then there's secret societies and different groups, and we're not privy to all of the connections, you know. So that is maybe kind of a confusing thing, but I know for a fact that Turning Point USA is, I mean, they are so supportive of Israel, and they are basically our Israel. That's why Charlie was killed. It's because he was going to turn his back on Israel. You know, they had a meeting with a Jewish billionaire in the Hamptons, an intervention with Charlie Kirk before he was assassinated. You know, basically yelling and screaming at him, telling him he better fucking fall in line with the narrative that they're trying to push, or else, you know, they were going to, he was going to lose a lot of sponsors and a lot of money. You know, there was a $2 million Jewish donor that was going to bail or did bail on him, you know. So I don't know. Anyway, let's just go back to this for a second.
Handler. I'm saying somebody on Erica's staff could very possibly be the handler. So who is closest to Erica and who was on that plane with Erica at all times. Because the first thought that comes to my head is you have somebody of a spy inside this organization. Their job is to gather intel and information and report back to you. And you want to do that without leaving a paper.
Well, I'll tell you, ALV, in every country, there are people who cooperate, and Egypt gets a huge amount of business from them. Egypt isn't a rich country, and there's a lot of corruption in Egypt. I had a guy in my chat here when I was going live, not for the X-Files, but before, who was from Egypt. God, I can't. He's my friend on Facebook now, too. And he tells me that shit is so corrupt in Egypt, it's not even funny. You basically just hand them money to get what you need, the permits and all that kind of shit, on the street. I don't know. It's like a huge spider web or maze. How can we figure this out? Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to figure it out, but we just got to hold them accountable for lying to us. We can just, every step of the way is a lie. And we're just on top of it. Everything from the fact that the 30-06 is not going to poke a hole in somebody's neck, and squirt out blood. It's going to destroy your neck. That's like the main thing that people can't get past. And was like the big, trigger to this whole thing is like, a bullet don't do that. And then Kash Patel made matters worse when he just said, we solved this crime in record fashion, less than 36 hours, 33 hours to be precise, which that goes over a lot of people's heads. But people like me that are fucking on this shit, 33 is the magic number. So it's just another fucking sign. But he basically just said they put a gag order on it. 3,000 people they silenced even before the trial. And they're just telling anybody like Candace that speaks out about it. X is full of people, these Jewish Zionists, calling her the C word, calling her a crazy bitch, calling her a lunatic, calling her evil, calling her, everything under the sun, including people like Steven Crowder. And it's just fucking ridiculous. Why the obvious lie regarding the gun used? It's a good question, but but then what got weird was the fact that, if you really kind of study this case, it's the people that were around Charlie. They all knew that they're all involved in this. They're all involved in it. And if you watch the Candace Owens series, and somebody like me, I was already on top of this from Jump Street because, it's just like Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook wasn't real either. That was a Kabuki Theater 101. And people can believe that or not believe that. And that's why Alex Jones got sued, because he said something like that. But I know what I know. I have a daughter. I know. So they're lying to us about this. And I don't know if we'll ever figure out exactly what happened, ALV. This is a high-level military operation. And all of these people involved in it are in the military. From Erica Kirk, like I said, her family is in the Department of Defense. Everybody is in the military. The judge of this case, former military, they just brought him in. All of the people around Charlie Kirk are like military people. And the weird thing is that they're like military, and now they become pastors. And then they're bringing pedophiles into their churches. We played a video the other day where this guy did 8 years for something with like an 8-year-old. And he claims he didn't do it. And multiple kids. I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly what the charges were, but they found him guilty. And he goes, and I was found guilty, unbelievably. He just still denies it. And these are the kind of people that they're bringing into the churches. And this guy who brought him into the church, Rob McCoy, who claims to be a pastor, both of his sons are the CFO and COO of Turning Point USA. And Erica Kirk is now the CEO. So these guys run, they make all the financial decisions of this multi-$100 million company. And but more importantly, they're doing this because Turning Point USA is the new. I think that they realized that how powerful the jihad movement was and all the wokeism, that how powerful it is on college campuses. It's how Turning Point USA is at all these college campuses, and it's just but it's such a dangerous movement. It's not Christianity, and they're trying to say they're Christians, but they're not. These are the people that killed Jesus and hate Christians. They will spit in the face of Christians, but they're pretending to be us. So it's just very weird times right now. I can't really explain it other than that. And you just have to watch Candace Owens. She's the master at this. Her show's so popular, she's making over $100,000 a month in super chats right now. I wonder why they decided to take him out so publicly. It's a great question, Patty. A lot of this stuff is, that they pull on us is psychological or psyops. It's a psychological, it's a war on our mind. They're just, they're data mining our minds. There's just, they like to put these viruses in our minds. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly why they do what they do. Candace has zero fucks to give. She seems to be his only true friend. I agree. I think that it seems to be his only true friend because his other true friends, they have some fucks to give, and they're probably scared for their life, and they're probably wondering how Candace even sleeps at night, right? Because everybody's getting threatened. We heard Megyn Kelly talk about her and Tucker, and she said she don't even want to talk about it. You can hear it in her voice. You're talking about the most dangerous people on the planet. These are the people that killed X, King, Kennedy, Kirk. These motherfuckers are dangerous. This is the mob. This is the real cabal. These are the guys that run the show. The true puppet masters that take the orders from whoever, fucking the masters of the universe, the Rothschild or whoever. It's not, these are them. These are the people, like Rob McCoy. That dude, his family, they have like a McCoy fleet in the military. They have their own fleet of military ships. These are like the families that run the military. I don't know. Who knows how that shit fucking works? We're never going to fucking figure that out. I honestly think Patel panicked and felt he had to show the country that they immediately solved the crime. They were afraid the assassination would have started a civil war. Well, I don't buy that, ALV, because Patel and Kirk were really, really good friends, supposedly, and even if that were the case, let's say okay, well, we need to solve this crime for real. So we're just going to put out this, fake story, this narrative that, we solved this crime in 36 hours. And then because I thought that, they are really working behind the scenes to try to solve this crime, and I still hope that that's what it is, but it's not what it is. It is a complete, but the problem that people are never going to be able to wrap their head around is that if you really knew the truth about what really happened and what's involved here, you're talking about thousands of people that are involved in this. You know what I mean? There were hundreds of people at that event that knew that was going to happen. This is my opinion. Now, a lot of people will say that that's not possible. That's just, you're crazy. Okay. Well, this is just how it works. It's not just one lone person. This is a secret society of people that are a superior race to white people. You know, they pretend to be white, but they think that they're superior to us. These, you can call them whatever you want. You know, you can say that they're Jewish Zionists, but that's probably not the whole story, you know. But there's just a whole nother group of people out there, a huge number of people that operate on a different plane than we do. They have intelligence. Literally, they have the intelligence. The people that run the satellites and all the cameras and the battleships and the planes and all that shit. You know, they don't walk the streets with us. You don't walk the streets with somebody that has codes to nuclear weapons or works on, you know, those people are, you know, they're under lock and key. They work in tandem with each other. They operate together, you know, they live together. The family of in Utah, you know, Utah is heavily Mormon. The family of Lance Twiggs, and I don't know if it's Lance Twiggs or I don't know exactly how the whole connection there goes with Lance Twiggs, if that's his family. But the house that they lived in, that family owns 19 houses in that neighborhood. Okay. And they come to find out that they're heavily involved in high-level military. So everywhere you look, in every direction of this story, including where they live at, is high-level military. So now, do we have the time to fucking go down? I don't even have time to fucking even talk about all the different high-level military fucking trails. It's a really complicated, obviously it's going to be complicated. This is, you know, this is the academic military industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about. This is them. Okay. These are the people that own all the fucking chemicals and all that shit. They own us. And they just fucking lie to us all the time. But this is on a level that, you know, we can't let it go because it's too big of a deal, man. I didn't really even fucking care about Charlie Kirk. I didn't even watch any of his videos, but damn, you can't do that to people. And is he even dead? You know, that's what we don't even know. Like, was it a hologram? Was the whole thing staged? I mean, obviously it was a staged event, but was it even a real assassination? More than likely, yes. In my mind, partially no. And we already played a video yesterday about that whole thing, about the Freemason ceremony. And, you know, there's that quote again that if you were ever to know and expose the truth, people would think you were insane when you told the story. And that is the truth. Some people will go against their own family and friends because of greed, of money. It's the root of all evil. Lots of churches are corrupted by it too. 100. It's all kabuki theater to see what they can get away with for a bigger plot. That's true. Yeah. Yep. Christianity has been hijacked. It has, Patty. It has. Plot is the key word, Co-Train. We will all end up underground and our souls will be judged for what we do in this life. Yes. Candace has 150 to 3,000 K live viewers every day. People are definitely seeing what's going on, but do they believe it? Most people, I don't know. I don't think so. It's hard for most people to even comprehend what is even being talked about, I think, to be honest with you. You know, you got to kind of, you know, dig in, and then there's a lot of, I don't know. Yeah. For most people, I don't think that they have any clue. It will determine our fate if entering paradise in the next life or not. Corrupt, greedy people who still won't go there. But hopefully, that's true. Hopefully people are just kind of picking up on little stuff and they can tell that we're being lied to. And we got to hold on to the things that you know are lies and don't let them get away with it. Like the 30-06. Let's fucking see the fucking, you know, but it's going to turn out to be like, because they already put a gag order on it, and then whatever they're going to do, they'll seal it 50 years from now. They'll be like, oh, we're going to get the Charlie Kirk files. we're finally going to figure it out. We'll be long gone by then. But, like our kids will be like, our age or older, We're finally going to figure out what happened to Charlie Kirk. Yeah, sure. Sure thing. Suzanne, I believe that too. I'm amazed that all these people act like there's nothing. I'm going to skip a couple here because my voice goes. I'll just put them up on the screen real quick. I can already feel it going. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know what I did? I made some lemon honey tea, and then I made a cup of coffee at the same time, and I dumped a little bit of my white chocolate powder into my tea instead of the coffee, like a dumbass. So I tried to scoop out as much as I could, and I didn't have time to redo it, so I said fuck it, and it's like disgusting, but I still drank it. No video of blood on the ground. No, I do have my tea ALV, but you're right. Well, it's only 3:00 in the morning over here too, so give me a break. Well, yeah, I mean it is. It gets like that too, but my voice just goes when I start talking. I notice that, Suzanne. I'm not used to talking that much. I'm a thinker, not a talker. When people come to my stand, I say, hello, how are you? They look. I show them what I got. I'll take 2 cheesecakes. I'll take a lemonade. You got a little sugar, a little ice, not a lot of talking. A little shake, shake, shake. Stab the cup, put the straw on. Have a nice day. This, I feel like an auctioneer when I see all these chats. All the comments. It drains me really quick. It's funny. So I gotta forgive me if I don't read all the comments.
Paper trail. So if Erica Kirk's personal assistant goes out to get coffee for Erica every day, well, I can fly an Egyptian plane in, and then I can pass that intel via a memory card or an SD card or a camera or a cell phone or a device directly to my handler, and then I can get that information back to Israel without ever having a paper trail. So my question is, who do you think is being handled, and who do you think is the handler? Who do you think around Erica Kirk?
And did you hear that? So, I mean, that's the kind of theories that, you have to think about, and most of us don't have time in the day to think about that kind of shit. But yeah, if you don't want a paper trail on the internet, you're recording stuff with some type of a, digital camera, you take out the SD card, you hand it off, it flies on the plane and goes back to the intelligence agency. You can't email shit. You can't transfer it on the phones and shit like that. That would be how an intelligence agency operated. And you probably make the argument that they do it, they have like sophisticated, encrypted this, that, but you also have China and, to worry about and shit like that. So I could see that 100%. Yeah, 100 ALV. 100. Patty, yeah, they remodeled into it. That's what I got to do is like, if I see that it has somebody's name, like Cotrain's talking to Patty, I don't need to read that one. You know what I mean? Yep. See, Patty just said that. It will save my voice. Well, at least I have a pitcher of water in here because I'm out of tea, so I can at least drink some water. And it's probably from smoking weed too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not smoking weed right now, but ALV, his ADD makes him read that's 100%. I'd be like every single ... word, laugh emoji, laugh. You know what I mean? That's how when Moss reads his, he has like an automated super chat reader because he goes through a Streamlabs, and if you put a bunch of emojis, it'll say like eggplant, 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 eggplant. You know, it's, I don't know. Yeah, see, I'm practicing right now. But that makes sense to me. So anyway, we're gonna move on from this story because I'm just kind of getting sidetracked. And see what else we got here. DL Crybaby Hughley about Epstein.
One thing for sure, I can tell you who's not on Epstein's list. Nobody black, no immigrants, no trans. There's no diversity in this pedophile ring. No DEI. This is a game for rich, old white dudes. The largest demographic in America, the number one registered sex offenders in America. Registered sex offenders are middle-aged white dudes. This is their game. And if you let this stuff slide, you have a favorite pedophile. That's the game you playing. I don't care who did what. I don't care if I like their music, their politics. I don't care if I like their movies. If you did this, to me, you're a pedophile and you should suffer the consequences of the law. Because unlike a lot of people, like Megyn Kelly, or like all of these people who are excusing this, I ain't got a favorite pedophile. That's not a game I'm willing to pay. That's going to be on Netflix soon. My favorite pedophile. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
You know, I'm not a fan of DL Hughley, but he's not wrong. I mean, it's not like he ain't talking about us either. He's talking about the ruling class, you know. And are they even white? You know, are they really white? Or are they part of that fucking weird ass, you know, we're better than white people fucking, you know, like Pete Hegseth, he openly said he's a Jewish Zionist. So our Secretary of War is one of them. You know what I mean? So call it what you will. But, you know, there's people like Bill Cosby, and, you know, he's the number one that comes to mind. So it's definitely not all white people, but he's not wrong. And when it comes to my favorite pedophile, it's the truth, you know? So that's why I'm for the death penalty. I'm for the death penalty for that shit. And, you know, I've always thought that the leniency of these type of crimes is because if they're ever to get busted, the people that write the laws and all that, you know, this is like 20-year-old Osada thinking that if they were to ever get in trouble, that they wouldn't want to, you know, be killed or have to go to prison for their whole life. I've always thought that, you know, that it's just, that's the reason, because it never made any sense to me that why would somebody who violated a kid not be executed or never be able to get out of jail ever again? You know, I never understood that. But then, you know, as I grew up, I'm like, oh, it's because that's what those guys do. And so, of course, they wouldn't want the penalties to be like death or life in prison, because if they were ever to get caught, they would want to be able to, you know, lawyer up and get out of it or whatever, you know, do just a little bit of time. And, you know, that's really the fucking truth. That's what our government engages in. There's no other way to put it, guys. I mean, everywhere you look, you know, including Turning Point USA, this new supposedly Christian, whatever the fuck it is. It's not. They're a fucking pedophile ring too. Erica Kirk herself has been, you know, it's questionable. She's involved in, I think, adoption centers in Ukraine, of all places. And there's, you know, rumors of child trafficking coming out of those places, specifically her places. So how does that all work? How do you get on a reality show, become Miss Arizona, have adoption centers in Ukraine with sex trafficking, and fucking marry Charlie Kirk, and then take over his $100 million company? And now you're talking about JD Vance has the sexy qualities that my husband had. and, you know, making out with him on stage. I mean, give me a fucking break, man. This is why my voice goes, because I go on these tangents. Magooch. Co-train and Black Santa Claus. Yes. In the ghetto. All right, guys. Let's move on. We played this one already. If you guys didn't see this one. The lady from the health department is pouring bleach into all of the condiments and sauces of the illegal street vendor who refuses to shut down. So those two people work for the health department, and they said, "Take that, motherfucker. You don't want to shut down." And she looks like they both look Spanish. She really looks Mexican. And I know here in Washington State, the Mexican Food Truck Association petitioned the health department to do their job because the illegal Mexicans are taking all their business. And I thought about that. I was like, oh, damn, that's true. Because the illegal street vendors don't affect my business, really. They affect other Mexican food business. So, okay, here's Erica Kirk. Here she is in her summer house, a reality show about young single people living in New York City and spending the weekends in the summer in the Hamptons. Oh, weird. That's where the intervention meeting with Bill Ackerman and Charlie Kirk was at, in the Hamptons, before they cast her as a Freemason, Charlie Kirk's wife, on the world stage. So here she is in the reality show, and it's kind of interesting how they're talking about Christianity, and it's way back then.
Thank you. Remember, Vaughn, Erica, Burnett, Cindy, you got this. Jordan's probably a virgin, so I'm setting Jordan up with my friend Erica. She's beautiful, and she happens to be religious. Oh, there they are. Pedo. You want me to go try to drink some refiner in here? Cool. Jordan, if you don't take this to the next level, God help you. Oh. Cheers, everyone. This is ridiculous. Okay, that's good. Beautiful blonde hair, her smile, her radiance. I can tell that she's got not only outward beauty, but inner beauty, and that's what I'm looking for in a woman. So, how do you two ladies know each other?
We were in Miss USA together.
Oh, cool.
So she was Arizona and I was in North Carolina.
Congrats.
I have to tell you something
What's going on?
You and I matched on Bumble like a year ago. Yeah, you never went anywhere. So I said, hey, and Jordan goes, hey, Sydney, glad we met.
It was me meeting Jalen.
I said, me too, smiley face. Did we do anything fun last night?
Goes. It's delivered. You're out. I think I was going through a phase of my life where I was like, I want to meet somebody in real life. I want to meet somebody with the same beliefs. I'm like a really big Christian. I'm like.
So you wouldn't meet him at church or anything?
It's tough because like I watch it online.
Okay, so these people are definitely part of the satanic death cult, because does anybody not think that those two guys are having sex? Those two guys love each other. That's obvious. They are all up in each other's booty. So ain't nobody fucking fooling me. I never watched that shit either, ALV. But so you have two gay lovers on there pretending to date these girls, and so they're talking about Christianity. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I've never seen these people any more gay in my life. 100% co-train. Those guys are so. He said when that other chick was like, he ghosted me. The other guy was like, let me see your phone. And he goes, you're an asshole. You know what? Come on. It's just, I mean, that's just my opinion, but I just, I don't watch TV, and that's why. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Girls in New York loving to hang out with gay guys. Yeah, it's so hard to watch that behavior. Yeah, it's cringe, man. So this is Rob McCoy. This is the pastor, so-called pastor, whose sons now run Charlie Kirk's company. And this guy says weird things like, oh, Charlie said I was America's pastor. Wait a minute, what? He said what? We all knew who Charlie Kirk was somewhat. We've heard his name before he was killed. Raise your hand if you knew who, what's his name again? Rob McCoy. Raise your hand if you knew who Rob McCoy was as a pastor or anybody else. But basically, you know, what happened is, and this is just from the Candace Owens series, it's the Calgary, I think it's Calgary Baptists, have churches everywhere. This guy infiltrated them, the military industrial complex, infiltrated these churches and put in these pastors that are military people like him. And when you hear his sermons, ALV, you're a Christian, you can tell me what you think when you hear him give some sermons, man. It's not normal. He talks more about the government and military than he does about anything else. He was America's so-called pastor, right, Coach Rain? It's just like Josh Hammer saying, oh, before Charlie died, he was telling me he really wanted to promote my book. What book? Raise your hand if you know what Josh Hammer, does anybody, most people probably don't even know who Josh Hammer is, but does anybody, including me, know what Josh Hammer's book is? I don't even know what his book is. And I know the story about what he said about how Charlie said he wanted to promote his book, which is just fucking can you imagine your so-called friend is killed and then you go on YouTube and be like, just like right after he's killed, being like, damn, Charlie really was talking about how he wanted to promote my book. We'll just call it Osada's Greatest Treats on Earth. Man, he really wanted to promote my book before he died. So you can get my book for $20, Osada's Greatest Treats Ever Made, right here. Here's the link if you do want to get it. Because again, Charlie, before he died, he really wanted to promote my book. This is what these people are fucking saying, man. You don't say that about your friend. They're all these stories are like, oh, Charlie told me this, Charlie said this, Charlie, it's so weird, man.
First of all, I love Israel. This is my 25th, 26th time. I've lost count.
America's pastor. 25 or 26 times to Israel. America's pastor. You're America's pastor. And Charlie Kirk, the reason why they had that intervention in the Hamptons with Bill Ackerman, the Jewish billionaire, is because Charlie, he went on PBD and said, that area is the size of New Jersey over there. And did they give a stand-down order on October 7th? They could have prevented that from happening. They didn't. They let it happen. Basically what he said, this is what led to his death. So anyway, this is America's pastor, 25, 26 times in Israel. Okay, let's all add up how many times we've been to Israel. Everybody in the chat, how many people we got watching? 10? Let's add up. If you put a 1 in the chat, or whatever number for how many times you've been to Israel, put that number in the chat if you've been to Israel. Yep, chapter 1, how to dip strawberry. Chapter 2, frosting cakes. Yep. Okay.
Every time I come, there's a new site that's been excavated and protected. I want to thank the nation of Israel for protecting our holy sites. I want to thank the nation of Israel for giving us the freedom to come and worship here. I stand with you. I love you. And it's an honor to be with you. And if I may have the privilege to pray for you, would you mind? Yes? No? Okay. But just say yes if you'll let me pray for you. All right. Lord, thank you for this precious audience who's gathered tonight. We thank you for those who are tuning in online. And God, we ask your great blessing upon this nation and the United States of America. And God, I ask that you would heal this land. I in the hotel watching these IDF soldiers come in off the front lines, being with their families, you can see the exhaustion in their eyes. Lord, I pray healing upon this land with the PTSD and all that the folks have experienced. Lord, I pray that this would be a season of healing. I pray, God, it'd be a season of renewal, that their hearts would be open and they would return to the God of their salvation. That, Lord, this season would bring families together. And I pray, God, your blessing upon this land and also upon the United States of America. We pray comfort upon Erica and the children, Turning Point, and Lord, for all who have suffered, we just pray your blessing upon them. We thank you for this night. And Lord, I pray respectfully in the name of my Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Mustang Mike, hello, good morning. Good to see you. So I don't know how you guys feel about that sermon. I just think that's so weird, and that's not even the weirdest one, man. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up the one real quick with the pedo.
Accident, then decide about
This is what it is. And I got to share years ago when compelled, I was
intros Thomas on his podcast. Take a listen.
I was so compelled because of the gossip and the slander of my friend who's going to join me that I wanted him to tell his story. So 20 years ago, when we were over at Skyline, the introduction was you walked in and you said, I need to talk to you and I got to share with you. And you were just pretty blunt. You just laid it out there. And you said, this is what it is. And you followed the procedures. You did what was required of you. And you and I have been friends. There's been no issues. It's remarkable how you've served this community. I personally made the call that they can make fun of us and they can claim whatever they want to claim, but I wanted your family protected. So I pulled that, I guess it was a advertisement for the home fellowship, which we do for all the home fellowships.
So he's upset and he goes on to talk about how people online who don't know the full story.
Oh, here we go. I was afraid they weren't going to play this part.
You know, if you're buying this story that he's about to tell, take a listen.
So this is like early 90s, a nice little beach community in Orange County. And I get accused of a crime that I did not commit. It's a falsely accused. It's an underage girl thing. And the premise of the case is there's a guy running around asking people about a lost cat. And this happens 15, 20 times over the course of 6-8 months. And the whole town is getting in an uproar over it. So they bring this girl and they film an interview. After I got involved in this whole thing, we didn't know this was part of the thing. They just spring this in trial. And it's this interview where the kid doesn't care what she's saying. She's not upset. She thinks she's waiting for her mom in a dentist office. And then they just keep asking her leading question after leading question. And the kid's not giving them what they want. Eventually, they get her to say that there was some inappropriate touching on that. She sort of says it, sort of denies it, but it's all they needed. Now they can go out and arrest somebody. And they obviously don't care who they arrest. And the cops had lined up like 16 different guys of a certain look or whatever. And some of us, I was one of them, were under surveillance. And so they had pictures of us. And they got enough people to say, that looks like the guy. So they went and got me. Then they come over to my place with the search. They bring me in the search warrant over to my place. And they have 17 specific items that they're looking for. They get 11 of them, which sounds kind of bad until you read what it is. I get arrested. So they throw me in jail, and the next day you're supposed to get a hearing for bail.
Let's pause for a second. So they throw you in jail. The next day you get a hearing for bail.
They're nice enough to do it on. Okay.
How long ago was this?
Like 28 years. 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
28 years ago. All right, go ahead.
It isn't the whole interview, dang it. But he goes on to say, like, unbelievably, they convict me, they find me guilty, and I do 8 years in prison or something like that, you know. And this is the guy he chose to bring into his church and to be around more kids. And he's saying, now, how long ago was this? You can see him just justifying it 28 years ago. You know what I mean? So, and is there anybody that looks more like just fits more of a creep than that guy? I mean, that guy is like, he's the guy like the window rolls down from the white van. Hey, would you like some candy, little kid? Or his van just says candy on it, free candy. I mean, what a fucking creep, man. He kind of reminds me of Ed Rooney from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the principal. Now, Ed. Grace. Fucking love that movie. You know, he ended up being a real fucking pedophile, that guy. The motherfucker. He always looked fucking creepy. The worst thing is they lie and say the money is for good while they pocket it and become richer. 100%. So, yeah, this guy's fucking creep, man. Now we'll get back to this. Wow, this is wild. This was in, I don't know where this is at. Little police chase. The cops are chasing this truck, and the truck just runs people over. He doesn't really run them over. I watched it a few times. I don't think nobody died for sure. A couple people got hurt, but they didn't actually get ran over. They get hit, and then they just scooted out of the way.
What the fuck?
So you do that, you know, depending on where you're at, they'll just unload on you, you know. I guess it kind of just depends where you're at, you know. Wild, fucking crazy, man. People have no regard for life. He is in jail still, the principal from Ferris. Yeah, he did something weird. I can't remember what it was. Donna's doing it. Good morning. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. Ferris Bueller. When he's in the shower and he says, I don't believe in isms. I just believe in me. Or no, he goes, I don't believe in the Beatles. I just believe in me. Here's a quote in John Lennon. He goes, after all, he was the walrus. I could be the walrus. Still wouldn't change the fact that I don't have a car. That was a fucking great movie. But I think Matthew Broderick is a fucking libtard too, if I'm not mistaken. Piers Morgan exposes PBD for the Zionist shill that he is. Which I'm not really a fan of Piers, but...
Would you be okay with a Muslim prime minister of UK?
Yeah.
You would be okay. That wouldn't do anything.
Absolutely. You know, do I think we have a particular problem in the UK with radicalized Muslims? I'm not convinced by that. You're just, you know, picking on people because of their Muslim faith.
If you were okay with somebody who's a Muslim to become a prime minister, then they come in and they say, hey, Sharia law, what are you going to do about it?
You can't tar the entire Muslim population with the brush of potential extremism, in the same way that you get Christian extremists in America who've committed appalling atrocities.
You're comparing the two.
It's the same, isn't it?
It is.
I don't like the tinge of you're all potential extremists until you prove otherwise.
No, because
I think it's unfair. Are we really suggesting that 1.4 billion Muslims are all potential extremists? Because I don't get that sense of the Muslims I know in London. I walk down my high street in London. There are Muslims running all sorts of different businesses.
Okay.
And honestly, they're not extreme. Well, look, I go to a lot of Muslim countries, felt completely safe. There was no hooliganism whatsoever.
And by the way, the argument, some people in America are like, look, we don't want anybody else to come in here. This is plenty, right?
I don't think we should lose in the mix of all this a compassion towards genuine asylum seekers, particularly from countries ravaged by wars, which we may have been complicit in starting, in my opinion, on a false pretext.
Yeah, I think that is a...
I would add the caveat of the Iraq caveat, which is if you go and bomb a country and you destroy people's lives, I do think a country like the United States, most prosperous country in the world, does have a duty of care to bring some of those people into its country, as it has done. You fled your family
Iran. I lived there for 11 years.
From a war-torn place.
We did. There are people that I've had on the podcast that wouldn't even want me to be here right now. They're like, you know, you got lucky getting in here, which is their argument. They have the right to have that argument.
How wrong is that argument?
I will tell you, like, would you...
Here's the jerk off. It's crazy times that we live in, guys, because it's not, you know, this is one of these situations where our opinion on, because I think we're all kind of probably have the same opinions about some of these issues. So maybe some of us don't, I don't know. The fact of the matter is that that's what's happening, like it or not. And, you know, how it's being allowed to happen is the question. Why? You know, UK is, you know, thank God is not the United States, but we've got Mom Domney, and then we've got a host of socialist, Marxist, communist mayors throughout the United States. And, you know, Katie, what is her name? Katie Wilson here in Seattle. Oh, wait, hold on. Coach Rain had a comment, too, about somebody. Katie Hopkins. Not sure, Coach Rain, about Katie Hopkins. I'll have to look it up and write that down. But that's what's happening here. We have call to prayer in Dearborn, Michigan, and they're telling you if you don't like it, get the fuck out. If you're a Christian and you don't like it, you can leave, is what the message is in Dearborn, Michigan right now. Literally. That's literally what they're saying. Leave if you don't like it. So I don't know what to say. Now, I've seen videos of what it looks like over in those Muslim countries, and you know, they've got kabuki theater going on over there just like we do here. They have very, very nice buildings, sure. But let's see what the poor people look like. Where there's rich, there's poor. And where there's extremely rich, there's extremely poor, without exception. So, when Fair Sister kicks the principal, yeah, for sure. And sorry, guys, I'm not going to read all the chats because I have a voice problem right now. So I'm trying to conserve my voice. He's an opportunist, and so is PBD. You know, PBD, I was a little bit of a fan until he tried to call out Candace Owens. It backfired on him. And he kind of exposed himself for being a Zionist shill. You know, anti-Iran, big time he is. He is for regime change in Iran. That guy. This is a cop. Where was this at? In Iowa. Left his shotgun on top of his car.
What the fuck? You ain't gotta come back, it's too late. Does he know it's there?
I'll save us the annoying music and turn signals and shit. Let me see if it says anything about. No comments on that one. Okay, they must have turned the comments off or something. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about that, but who is PBD? It's Patrick Bet-David. It was the guy that was interviewing Piers Morgan. He has a show that comes on 9 o'clock Eastern, and it's him and a few other people. And they just talk about basically what we talk about on this show. They talk about a couple hours later. Yeah. Right, ALV? Yeah, Patrick Bet-David. So.
What have the Jewish people ever done?
Hold on. This guy is from Alex Jones.
What have the Jewish people ever done that's bad? What have they ever done to anybody? Nothing, okay? I mean, except communism, but, sure, that rose out of Judaism and killed 100 million Christians. But, like, other than that, what's the big deal? Fractional reserve banking, okay, sure. Yeah, the Fed and all that is not great. But other than communism and fractional reserve banking, what, the Middle East wars? Okay, fine. Yes, the Middle East wars and the fractional reserve banking and pornography and normalizing homosexuality and hijacking the civil rights movement. But other than that, like, what have they done to anybody ever? And if you're going to say they've killed hundreds of thousands of children and innocent people in their brutal wars of domination in the Middle East, then all I have to say to you is shut up, okay? It's like, who cares? It's like, well, other than those things, what's the big deal? What's the big issue? Other than the pedophile blackmail rings and the controlling the U.S. Congress and the imposing censorship on everybody because their bad deeds are being exposed, like, what have they ever done to anybody? The outrage is so unwarranted and, like, overblown. I mean, people are acting like they killed Christ or something. Oh, shit.
And, you can take that for what you will, but it's, he unfortunately is spitting some facts, but what we could choose to even engage in that or not. But what we can't turn away from is the fact that now you have Muslim mayors and socialist, Marxist, communist mayors with the same ideology. Katie Wilson here from Seattle, she just went on video the other day saying she's never met Mom Domney, but she cannot wait. She hopes and prays and can't sleep at night waiting to meet him. I mean, so this guy definitely has a chair in the corner of his bedroom. Osada, when are you going to sing happy birthday to Todd? If he ever shows up. If he doesn't show up, he's not getting a happy birthday. So, he ain't even said thank you in the text you guys sent him. So, but we can sing if you guys want to, and record it and make a short of it. No, because it would only be me. You have to come up here and sing ALV. And I don't have the voice for it. But yeah, so anyway, the reason why I bookmarked that is because I know, I don't really have any opinion on that. I feel my opinion is Jewish people do what they want, believe what they want. Christian people, we believe what we want. My stepdad was Buddhist. He was kind of Christian Buddhist. We had Buddhist funerals in his family. They were Japanese. So to each their own. But what we're not going to have is people pushing their shit on us, which is what's happening. But more importantly, even than that right now, is I particularly don't want to get blown up by a bomb, because that's what's coming. And, the news is not reporting on a lot of shit. I'm not saying there's terrorist attacks happening yet, but they're going to happen. This is what these people do. The Israelis are here in our country, and the Muslims are here in our country. Those are facts. So if anybody thinks that there's not violence is coming, you're not paying attention. It's coming. The next 9/11, buses being blown up in the streets. Because remember in the 80s, that's what they used to do. when Yasser Arafat was around and all that, you know, and the Palestinians, they were coming into Israel allegedly when, you know, with the suicide bombers would have dynamite strapped to their chest. These are the things that we can expect. They're gonna happen. So that's why I bookmarked that. We got to be careful, guys. Now we're going to listen to Alex Jones for a second here, and he's going to talk about, because he lives in Austin, Texas, and you guys
What
know.
have the Jewish people ever done?
Hold on.
That's bad. What have they ever done to anybody? Nothing. Okay. I mean, except.
Shut up. We heard you already. Okay. Let's listen to this about what these. So, and what I didn't know too, you know, in India, they say that this is about the HB1 Genius bill, right? That's why these people need to come over. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Were we going to sing happy birthday?
I'm here to sing happy birthday to Tot Father.
All right. Well, so then I guess we can make a short out of it and send it to him. All right. On the count of three. Ready? All right.
Okay.
One. Hold on. Let me get a drink of water. This is going to suck. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tot Father. Happy birthday to you.
That was awesome. I didn't know you were like a freaking singer. Shit. That was great.
I'm not a singer at all.
That was good. That was really good. Right on. In fact, I think that's the coolest happy birthday I've ever heard.
Well, he won't appreciate it, so whatever.
Well, we'll make a little short out of it. So,
all right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that. What's going on with you today? What do you got going on today?
Nothing really. Nothing. Just the usual.
Hanging out.
Usual stuff. Looking for a job. That's what I do full time now.
Right on. I went out selling yesterday. I normally don't go out on Mondays, but it was just kind of like a lackluster weekend, so I figured I better put in one extra day, and I'm glad I did. It was a pretty good Monday. So,
nice.
Yeah. So,
how are the? So right now, the cheesecakes are like the premier item for sale.
You know, the Dubai bars are making a comeback again. I don't know if it's holiday season, but I had one guy buy 2 yesterday, and then 2 people buy 1 each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, no, the cheesecakes for sure, and they haven't even caught on yet. Like it's just the 2 little locations that I've. Yeah, no, and the cool thing about the cheesecakes is, you know, they're frozen, and then I just pull them out and put them in the freezer or the refrigerator, you know, like 12 hours the night before I'm going to go out and sell. And then they're good for a few days. And then, you know, like I have, I think 10 cheesecakes in my cooler that I can't, they can't be eaten now. You know, it's just.
They're beyond the date, I guess.
So they get thrown away, and, you know, it is what it is. It's a little bit of a waste, but I'm still making a ton of money off of them. So
can you give those away and not have an issue if you know they're beyond the date?
Yeah, I need to. Well, see, I guess I could, you know, like that, but I don't know. I need to figure out I need to call my inspector for the Department of Agriculture, and I need to figure out some exact numbers, and so I can put it on the label, and, you know, she can tell me exactly what the times are. So I don't know.
Because I would suggest if you know, either give them away to just, you know, potential customers, or just take them to like a food bank. You know, like the homeless people might like them. You know, I don't know, just to give them, just so you don't throw them away.
No, 100%. Yeah, and that's why I just need to figure out what exactly the expiration date on this is going to be. You know, and then yeah, I definitely will do that for sure. That, you know, and I want to start doing that anyways, and I would be, especially for like schools and hospitals, you know, for like good causes, I'd be willing to donate my leftovers. I would be willing to make stuff for those guys to donate. You know what I mean? Specifically for those causes. So I've been asked a couple times to to donate, but it's always been for like I don't know. One time it was for a military veterans auction type of thing.
Okay.
Which I said
Right.
yes, no problem. But then I never heard back from the lady because it was like months down the road. She just
Forgot about you.
Yeah. So I'm always willing to do stuff like that. So, but yeah, no. You want to listen to this video real quick for a second?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And then I went to an Italian
Hold on.
restaurant last week, and half the people in there were Indians. Now, it's not just that half the people were Indians, because you go to the mall in Austin anywhere, it's like half the people are more Indians now. I mean, it's massive. Airport, you name it, around the country. But there's not black people and white people and Hispanic people in the restaurants eating. It's Indians, because they got the jobs, folks, with all these computer plants and chip plants and stuff. And they're all over Austin. You go in there, when the Indians get in, they only hire other Indians. That's why almost all the tech companies are run by Indians now. It's like just like with the trannies run Spotify. And I've got some news on India, man. I tell you, India is the most populous country in the world. I don't hate Indians, but India and business practices are as crooked as a dog's back leg. And 70% of all the H-1B visas are from India, and just one place in India. And so it's like it's not like it's like a mafia.
And I looked it up. It's the Punjabi section of India. It's just a tiny little section in the northwest part of India where all of these people come from. And he makes a very good point coming up that how is it possible that all of the geniuses of the world, 70% of them come from one little section of India. That all the geniuses of the world that we need for America come from one little spot on the globe.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And they're smart, so they come in, they know all the rules, the regulations, and they milk it all. And I'm not saying all the Indians, but I'm saying, here's an example. I got videos coming up. And I saw this flying back from doing Tucker a month ago. And I've noticed over the years a buildup where you see like 2 or 3 people in wheelchairs getting on the plane, being pushed in as they go to the head of the line, and then 10, 20. And now getting on and off planes, there'd be like lines of 30 people in the wheelchairs, and they're like able-bodied men and women, and they're a lot of them are young Indians. I mean, look at these videos where it's like almost all Indians. And to them and their culture has been so poor, but they're also smart. So they look at every system and what's legal. The chivalry thing is if you're not really, handicapped, you don't show up at the airport, get out of your car. You see somebody gets out of their car all healthy. It's not just Indians doing it, but now it's the majority. And people just get out of their car or get out of a taxi or Uber. They just go and they go, okay, they bring over a person. You sit in a chair. You go past all the lines.
I won't keep playing it, but it's a problem. He makes some good points, and he goes on. I mean, it's something I've been talking about for a long time. And, it sounds a little racist, but it's a fact. And we don't need all of our jobs being taken. And I'm so pissed that Trump said that we don't have the talent. And that's such horse shit. We need to have the opportunity to take these jobs ahead of time. And this is like he said, this is exactly what's happening. Chip companies all over Austin, Texas. It doesn't matter where you go. And they're all being ran by the Indians. And then you go into these high-end steakhouses, and none of us are in these high-end steakhouses because we don't have high-end jobs. They do in our own country, and it's a problem. So, here is Candace Owens talking about Britney Spears, which is really crazy what she was saying. And then all of a sudden, exactly what she's talking about, Britney Spears ends up in bed with Kim Kardashian and Khloe Kardashian. You can't Yes, you can mix it up. Oh, hold on, it's the volume again. I gotta go back.
Who is this woman that's speaking?
She is just a random person that just noticed an anomaly.
Okay.
Call me a conspiracy theorist, but there ain't no way that on Friday, Candace Owens posts this to her story. and then goes on her podcast and makes an episode saying this.
Is that when companies or individuals get too big and become too powerful, they send their agents to control them, to make sure that they are able to control their messaging. And if they cannot control those individuals, they will stage some sort of a hostile takeover of that brand or of that company or of that particular person. And there's a number of ways that that can be accomplished. First and foremost, the psychosis. Oh my, she's having a mental breakdown. She needs a break. She's really tired. Brittany's been put on a Psych 5150 hold. Kanye, he said he was just reading a Bible, and Harley Pasternak, and we got into his backstory, and MK Ultra suddenly puts him in a hospital on a Psych 5150 hold, and somehow his wife, I guess, was cool with that at the time, being Kim Kardashian.
And then goes on to read an email about somebody who wrote this email to her.
It's really just the Mossad agents who now are mostly with the Kardashians.
But wait, there's more. There was also this.
Remember My Chemical Romance? The drummer, well, he had an overdose at the right time, right? Kind of a crazy story. The drummer posts this onto Twitter. This was October of last year. This is Bob Breyer. He writes, easy answer for that. Don't forget that Lou Taylor was my business manager for 18 years. We just separated in September because the Kardashians are the slimiest pile of garbage on the planet. They make a shitload of money, way more than I do, kind of like prostitutes. Anyways, I cannot be associated with them. Maybe Kendall, because she's kind of real and has an SF90 that I could drive. They actually have blood on their hands, and I know everything.
And then I shit you not, I wake up on Sunday to see that the Kardashians had a sleepover with Brittany.
Oh boy.
Ain't no fucking way you can convince me that is a coincidence.
I mean, it's just a rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And, you know, it's true. These people, they get too big, and it happened to Charlie Kirk too. They have to control the narrative of these celebrities. So they have handlers, you know, people that, you know, don't let them just say whatever they want to say. The sports people are kind of under that same type of scrutiny too. Like, you know, NFL players just can't go on camera and say whatever they want to say. You know, it's in their contract. So, but they do.
What did she say about My Chemical Romance? What I missed that.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a whole story there. Like, you have to know who Lou Taylor is. Lou Taylor is one of these handlers, and she comes in and she's involved with Britney Spears' dad, and it's a whole thing, ALV. Okay. But he was exposing this, and then all of a sudden he has an overdose and dies. Okay. And anytime anybody speaks up about this, like, that's why they said Kanye was crazy, because Kanye was trying to expose this kind of shit. And so every time somebody tries to talk about these Zionist, because these people control the media, music, the news, the government, everything. And so you try to speak out against them, they have so many ways that they can get you. And they'll just put on like they did it to Dave Chappelle. They said that Dave Chappelle was crazy. He went to Africa and all this. Martin Lawrence was out on the street corner holding a gun naked, saying that they're trying to kill me. There's just story. Prince, his death, Tom Petty's death. It just, the list goes on and on. You just, I don't know. It's crazy town. And that's all I had for today. It's already 4:13. So.
Well, you did a lot. You did a lot today. Covered a lot.
Yeah. You know, I decided that I'm going to lower the amount of videos that I do, because I end up just not being able to spend too much time on one subject. Because I end up talking a lot about one subject, you know. And like this, I guess I got to kind of explain, because people don't really watch the Candace Owens thing. But it's very interesting because, you know, when you listen to her and you watch her series, Candace doesn't talk out of her ass. She comes with receipts, and everybody knows I love receipts. I have my own receipts. And she exposed Brigitte Macron, the wife of Emmanuel Macron, they're the president of France. Right. And, you know, and people can still draw their own conclusion whether that she was originally a man or not. But, and I believe she was. But what is not disputable is the fact that when Emmanuel was in school at age 14, Brigitte was his teacher at age 39 and fell in love with him.
Oh boy.
And it creeped out the parents so much, that Emmanuel's parents, that they moved him out of the school. And now they're married.
Yeah.
That's so she's definitely a pedophile. So, and because of her her documented series, though the president sued Candace multiple times, multiple lawsuits. It never happened before where a president of a country sued a podcaster for defamation, but they dropped the lawsuit every time because they couldn't bring the receipts. They won't show the pictures that prove that she doesn't have a cock. And
oh boy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, I love listening to Candace. There's a reason why she's the #1 podcast now.
What's this guy doing now? Is he saying that Joe Rogan's actually somebody else? Is that what he's doing here?
Let me see what this is. I didn't listen.
Joe Rogan, Aleister Crowley.
Oh, he's
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's trying to make him. That's why I bookmark videos, because Twitter X is full of just nonsense.
That is hilarious.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Aleister Crowley's still alive, and he's actually Joe Rogan. That's his theory.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
Now, I believe that Joe Rogan is a paid off.
He's a clown. He's a clown. I can't stand him. I really can't.
But do we believe he's out the reincarnation of Aleister Crowley? Probably not.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for coming up, LV. I'm gonna sit and man, I got so much work ahead of me that just little pauses like this. It's I wrote stuff down this morning because I get overwhelmed for what I have to do for the day, because I have to babysit and I just have shopping to do. When you do this kind of stuff, you constantly are going to the stores, constantly.
I'm sure
because you need ingredients. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a never-ending battle, but I love it. So
all right.
But anyway,
well, have a great day. And
you too.
Happy birthday, Todd Father.
Yep. Happy birthday, Todd Father, and great song. Thank you for coming up.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya. She did overnight. Brigitte definitely has a digit, 100%. I agree, Co-Train. The thing is that, I don't know. More people are waking up, and it's either Candace or at least people just got to pay enough attention to the case of Charlie Kirk to realize how severely we're being lied to and what that means. If we let them get away with this, then they're just going to keep. It's just going to get worse. So, I don't know. It's very interesting, but I appreciate everybody hanging out. Oh no, are you talking about the digit? Oh, definitely, she's got a digit. Co-Train. Or everyone should listen to Candace. I'm not. They did a good job with convincing us Kanye and Chappelle were nuts. I fell for it for a while. Great show, Sada. Thanks. 100%, Patty. And they continue to do it to us. And we all fall for it because that's what they do. Don't lie. Osada, you wish you were in the blanket. That's hilarious. Definitely. Oh, no way, man. Those guys are monsters, man. Absolute monsters. There's just no way. You want to talk about being chewed up and spit out. Golly. And they're lawyers too. Well, Kim's not a lawyer. She tried to become a lawyer and she's pissed. She's pissed at all the psychics that she went to. Did you see that? Let me see if I can find that. I don't even know how to spell psychics. Here we go.
You guys know that all of the psychic.
Hold on.
guys know that all of the psychics that we have met with and that we're obsessed with are all full of shit. They all collectively, maybe 4 of them, have told me I was going to pass the bar. So they're all full pathological liars. Don't believe anything. You guys know that.
So that's what you're dealing with people like that. All four of the psychics she went to said she was going to pass the bar exam. My gosh. No, about Candace being number 1, unless it was someone else. No, yeah, she's definitely number 1. Yep. No, she's number 1. I think in October they said she made $130,000 in super chats alone, not including sponsors. And now she's got a ton more sponsors. She's doing it up, and rightfully so. She deserves it, man. It's the most important podcast of all time. Her little run here, Coach Rain, I think you would agree with this. I mean, we don't even have to include Brigitte. Just the Erica Kirk is more important, more valuable than all of Joe Rogan's podcasts he's ever done. Take all the most important lines that Joe Rogan's ever said, put them all together in the 20 years he's been on doing his podcast or whatever. And this, last month or however long she's been doing it is more valuable, in my opinion, it's immeasurable. I mean, she's like, you can't even compare the two. Yep. Joe Rogan's just a gremlin. He just has the weirdest fucking people on. So. Thank God for Candace. We got to protect Candace at all costs. Right on, Coach Rain. Thanks for hanging out. And Patty and LV and Magooch and Mustang and Donna and all you guys. Suzanne. Have a great rest of your day.